Okay, now that you have seen an ideal research paper, you can use LaWanna Boston's essay as an example of what I expect for you to turn in at the end of the semester. The research paper is due on the day of the final exam, so you have several weeks to write it. And I will work with you from the beginning to the end. So I don't expect you to be able to go out on your own and write this research paper. I'm going to work you through it. The first thing we will do today is discuss the structure of the research paper. In other words, how should your research paper be set up? What should the structure be? If you look at this document, please take this out, your research paper outline. You can see that I tell you exactly what should go in each paragraph. Each number is a paragraph. So the total number of paragraphs that you need is 16. This is many more paragraphs than you are used to writing. So far we have only written 5 paragraphs. Well, in a research paper it has to be 6 to 8 pages long with a minimum of 16 paragraphs. And don't worry, because you already know the components. For instance, you know what an attention getter is. You know about the general background information and thesis statements. You know about topic sentences, examples, details, and specifics. And in the conclusion, you know about review thesis statement, review main topics, and a clincher. So you know all of the components that go in the research paper. You just have to write more and include research. And that will make your essay much longer. Okay, so let's talk about the first paragraph in your research paper. It needs to be an attention getter. You don't want to start with the topic right away. You want to get your reader's attention with a question, a short story, a fact, a statistic, some sort of way to get your reader's attention without giving away your topic. The next paragraph is when you start with your general and background information. That is, if you're talking about affirmative action, you can discuss the history of affirmative action in America. If you're talking about abortion, you can give me a little bit of history about abortion in America. What about if you want to discuss eating disorders? Give me a little background about eating disorders such as bulimia, anorexia, binge eating disorder. This is all before you give me your thesis statement. Now, at the end of this paragraph is when I'm looking for the thesis statement. The most important sentence in your essay is the thesis statement. It is the main idea. It states your position and states your 3 points. So if you're for affirmative action, you should say something like, affirmative action should stand in America for, and then you would give your 3 points. If you're against abortion, you should say, the Supreme Court should overturn the abortion Roe versus Wade case because, and give your 3 points. So when I look at your research paper, I should know exactly which sentence is your thesis statement because it's going to clearly state your side and it's going to give me 3 points. So this is 2 paragraphs that you have so far. Let's look at Boston's essay. Remember, you have an essay that is marked up with each component. Take that out. Follow along with me. This whole first paragraph is LaWanna's attention getter. Let's see how she starts. What if the United States Supreme Court declares that affirmative action violates the 14th Amendment and therefore is unconstitutional? So she has asked a question. She isn't giving away her topic or giving me her thesis statement up front. She is simply getting my attention. Next, she's going to have all of this information to get my attention, to get me engaged. The next paragraph, she's going to give me some background information on affirmative action in America. Listen up. Affirmative action has been in existence for nearly 30 years. And she goes all the way back to 1965 with President Lyndon Johnson. So the first paragraph is to get the reader's attention. The next paragraph is to give background information. The very last sentence in your paragraph here is the thesis statement. It should be your position, your side of the issue. Let's read LaWanna's thesis statement. The government should abolish all forms of affirmative action because it creates reverse discrimination, number one, provides unequal opportunities, number two, and allows the assumption of unqualified minorities, number three. Now, you may not know what affirmative action is. Affirmative action is when an employer or a school gives preferential treatment to minorities. In other words, if you have a college, they have a certain quota, a certain number of blacks they will admit. If you have an employer who wants a quota to be sure that he has enough women represented. So affirmative action is a practice where you give preferential treatment to minorities to keep everything balanced. Well, as you can imagine, some people are entirely against affirmative action because they say, for these three reasons. And then some people are totally for affirmative action. They think that if we don't have affirmative action, then minorities won't have a chance to get into the best schools or the best jobs. So, if we think about LaWanna's position, she is entirely against it. When I read your thesis statement, I should know your position and your 3 points. Let's go back to the outline. You're going to have 3 points. For each point, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs. So I'm going to have 4 paragraphs on my first point. I'm going to have 4 paragraphs on my second point. And I'm going to have 4 paragraphs on my third point. Do you notice that? Keep in mind that you're going to have to bring in research or you're not going to be able to drag this information out for 4 paragraphs. We're going to take a look at one of LaWanna's points. The first thing LaWanna said is that discriminative action creates reverse discrimination. This is topic 1. Let's read her topic sentence. First of all, affirmative action is discrimination against qualified Caucasian males and should be declared null and void. Her first opinion is, while we're trying to protect minorities, we are in turn hurting white males because even though they are qualified, they may not get the job or they may not be admitted into the college because they are white men. And LaWanna does not think that is fair. That is her first point. Okay, so go back to the outline. You give your first point and then you give me an example. In other words, explain what that point means. She says, discrimination is to make a distinction in treatment or show partiality. For example, the government gives a contract to a minority business owner rather than a white male business owner whose bid is much lower. Here is her example. Now, go back to the outline and take a look at what's next. We need details and specifics. I'm going to explain what that means. When you do a research paper, your details and specifics are real life situations that you have found in your research, real statistics, real facts, and real case studies. So we can't make up the information anymore. Any case study or any situation that you bring into your paper, you need to have found the research to support it. In LaWanna's essay, she has decided to bring in a Supreme Court case. She talks about the Supreme Court case and she discusses it. Boom. That's the end of paragraph 3. Look, paragraph 3, you end your first point. Now we move to paragraph 4, which should be another case study or another case in point or another illustration from real life. Let's go to the essay. Her next paragraph, she's talking about President Bill Clinton discussing reverse discrimination. And she's going to quote, she's going to go into great detail about this discussion. In your next paragraph, you have to give me another case study, some more research. So you want to talk about one case study at a time, one illustration at a time. Don't talk about Bill Clinton, the Supreme Court, and everybody else in one paragraph. You talk about one case study per paragraph. So in LaWanna's essay, this paragraph will be about universities. Okay? And she has several quotes. She's brought in her research. Then you have to give me another paragraph with another case study. This is the last one. This is the 4th paragraph in your first point. So once you've given some more details and specifics, she's actually going to talk about Dr. King in this essay. But remember, everything in these paragraphs go back to reverse discrimination. Everything in this paragraph talks about how white males are being punished even though they are qualified. So you don't want to bring in random details and specifics. All of your details and specifics should focus on your topic sentence, your first point, your first reason. And you're going to find 4 different pieces of research to support that reason. So this is the 4th paragraph in topic 1. Before you move to the second topic, you need to give me a concluding sentence. This is about reverse discrimination. Let's see what Lawana said at the end. Affirmative action is designed to compensate minorities for past discrimination. However, it should not show prejudice against qualified white males. So she concluded her topic by reminding us that this is about reverse discrimination against. Okay, let's continue. She has 2 more points. And so she has done the same thing 3 times. Here's her second point. Inequality. She's giving me details and specifics, details and specifics, details and specifics, concluding sentence. Then she moves to her third topic. Example, details and specifics, details and specifics, details and specifics, details and specifics, concluding sentence. So that's the meat of your essay. You have to have 4 paragraphs per topic, and that is very difficult to do, but not if you work with me. I will show you how to do it. And I will also show you how to find research. We will have a class period where I will show you how to find articles and books on your topic. Okay, it's time to move to conclusion. The first thing you need to do is say the thesis statement again. And then after you do that, you need to review your 3 points. And your final paragraph is your clincher sentences. You want to go out with a bang. You want to put everything in perspective. You want to really end with a powerful punch as to why people should be against affirmative action, of why people should support your position. And that is how you write a research paper. And then, of course, you will spend another day of class learning how to write the works cited page. So we're going to go step by step, so don't worry about it.